Hello and welcome back to FinFlam Unfiltered. I am your host, Big John. Today we're going over the entire Andrew and Tristan Tate situation. We're going to break it down piece by piece and put it back together so you understand exactly what happened and what is happening now and what the process actually looks like. This is not a highlight reel. This is FinFlam Unfiltered. We're going to cover who the Tate brothers are and how they built their following, why they moved to Romania, the full Romanian criminal case from arrest to court decision that stopped the trial, how they were able to leave Romania and enter the U.S., the new UK charges, and detail how serious they are. The July 2026 arrest in Miami, exactly how the UK-U.S. extradition works, the roles of Marco Rubio, Ron DeSantis, James Uthmire, and the White House, the public nature of the arrest and what the defense is claiming, and what comes next. We will move slowly. I will repeat key points. I will explain legal terms in plain language. The goal is that by the end of this episode, you can explain the entire timeline to someone else without looking anything up. Let's start from the beginning. Who are the Tate brothers? Andrew and Tristan Tate are dual British-American citizens. Andrew was born in 1986. Tristan followed a couple years later. Their father, Emery Tate, was an African-American chess international master. Their mother is British. Their brothers spent parts of their childhood in both the U.S. and the U.K. Andrew first became known as a kickboxer. He won multiple world titles in smaller organizations. The physical credibility later became part of his online brand. Tristan was less of a public fighter, but was always involved in the business side of it. Around 2016 and 2017, they moved to Romania. At the time, Romania offered lower cost of living, a favorable tax treatment for certain businesses, and a more permissive environment for the kind of online content they were producing. They built a large compound, ran webcam businesses, and later launched The War Room, a paid online community that mixed self-improvement advice, business coaching, and highly controversial views on women, relationships, and masculinity. Their content exploded during the pandemic and the years after. Andrew's short, aggressive clips on Instagram, TikTok, and later other platforms reached tens of millions of young men. He positioned himself as the opposite of what he called a weak modern culture. That message made him extremely popular with a certain audience and extremely hated by another. By 2022, they were among the most talked about online personalities in the world. That level of attention also brought intense scrutiny from journalists, activists, and law enforcement in multiple countries. Now here's the Romanian case. In December 2022, the Romanian anti-organized crime prosecutors, DICOT, arrested Andrew Tate, Tristan Tate, and two Romanian women. The initial allegations were human trafficking, forming an organized crime group for the purpose of sexually exploiting women, and, for Andrew, rape. Under Romanian law, these are serious felonies. Human trafficking in this context does not necessarily mean moving people across borders at gunpoint. It can include recruiting women, controlling their work in the adult industry, and taking large percentages of their earnings and using psychological pressure or deception. The prosecutors alleged the brothers ran a system in which women were brought to Romania, housed, and used to generate income through online adult content while the brothers took the majority of the money. The brothers denied everything. They said the women were adults who chose to participate and that the relationships were consensual, and that this case was a politically motivated attack on their success and their opinions. They were held in detention for several months, then placed under house arrest. In June 2023, they were formally indicted. The case then moved to the Romanian court system slowly, which is normal for complex organized crime files. Here's the key turning point. In December 2024, the Bucharest Court of Appeal ruled that the main case file could not proceed to trial. The reason was multiple legal and procedural irregularities by the prosecutors. In plain English, the court found that the way the evidence was collected, the way the charges were structured, or the way the investigation was conducted had serious flaws that violated Romanian criminal procedure. Now, that ruling did not declare the brothers innocent. It did not close any investigation. It did say the specific indictment as written could not go to trial in that form. This is how they got, quote-unquote, off the first major case in the sense that the trial was blocked. Travel restrictions remained for a period afterwards. In early 2025, those restrictions were lifted. Once the ban was gone, the brothers, as dual U.S. citizens, had the legal right to travel back to the United States. Later in 2025, Andrew and Tristan landed in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, on a private jet. Because they hold U.S. passports, U.S. Customs and Border Protection cannot simply refuse the entry the way they might refuse a non-citizen re-entry. Dual citizenship gives them the right to come home. Florida Attorney General James Uthmire immediately announced a state-level criminal investigation. Governor Ron DeSantis publicly stated that Florida does not welcome that type of conduct. DeSantis emphasized that he had not been involved in their entry and that the federal government controls the borders. This is important for later claims. The Tate supporters later argued that Florida officials were part of a coordinated efforts against them. The officials' public position was that they were simply responding to the presence of men facing serious foreign charges. The Florida investigation remains separate from both Romanian case and the later UK extradition request. On July 18, 2026, the situation changed again. British prosecutors announced a new set of charges against the brothers. the additional counts numbered in the high 30s, bringing the combined total higher when added to the previous matters. The new allegations include multiple counts of rape, arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation, assault occasioning actual bodily harm, for Andrew Tate specifically, offenses related to indecent images of a child and extreme pornography. These charges relate to additional alleged victims. The UK Crown Prosecution Service stated that the new evidence had been gathered and that the public interest is required prosecution. But how serious are these compared to the Romanian case? The Romanian case was already grave. Trafficking and rape are among the most serious categories of crime, period. The new UK package adds more alleged victims and critically introduces child-related image offenses. Under both UK and US law, anything involving indecent images of children is treated with extreme severity. Even possession can carry long sentences. Production or distribution, in that case, is much worse. If the UK evidence holds up in court, these charges are at least as serious as the original Romanian ones, and in some respects more so because of the child image component. The brothers deny all of it. Their position is that the accusations are false, politically motivated, and part of a long-running campaign to destroy them because of their public statements. Now, here's how it all broke down with the Miami arrest. On July 18, 2026, U.S. Marshals arrested Tristan and Andrew Tate in Miami. They were on their way to a bare-knuckle boxing event. The arrest was made on a sealed warrant connected to the UK extradition request. They were taken into federal custody and appeared in court in Miami. They are currently fighting extradition. Their attorney, Joseph McBride, has been blunt. He has called the arrest a political hit. He has said the marshals did their job by following orders, but that the people giving the orders or pushing the prosecution are trying the case in the court of public opinion. He has argued that America should not do Britain's political dirty work. This is the defense core narrative. The arrest was timed and conducted in a way designed to maximize humiliation and media coverage rather than simply to secure presence for legal proceedings. How does a UK-U.S. extradition actually work? Well, the United States and the United Kingdom have a long-time standing extradition treaty. When the UK wants someone who is in the U.S., the process generally works like this. Number 1, UK authorities prepare a formal request with evidence. Number 2, the request is reviewed by U.S. authorities. Number 3, if it meets the treaty standards, a federal warrant can be issued. Number 4, U.S. Marshals or other federal officers execute the arrest. Number 5, the person appears before a U.S. magistrate judge. Number 6, there is a hearing on whether the legal requirements for extradition are met, dual criminality, sufficient evidence, etc. Number 7, if the judge certifies extradition, the final decision can involve the Secretary of State. Marco Rubio, as Secretary of State, has stated that the administration has no role to play at this stage and the matter is in the courts. The White House has indicated it will not block the process. This is standard language. The executive branch can, in rare cases, refuse extradition for political or humanitarian reasons, but the current public position is non-interference. Ron DeSantis and James Ethmeyer are state officials. They do not control the federal extradition warrants. Their early criticism of the Tates and the Florida investigation are separate tracks. The July 2026 arrest was a federal action based on a UK request, not a Florida state action. Who is more responsible? Let's answer the question directly. The UK Prosecution Service decided to bring the new charges and request extradition. That is the origin of the current case. U.S. federal authorities processed the request and the marshals executed the warrant. That is the mechanism. Marco Rubio and the White House have publicly declined to intervene. Ron DeSantis and Florida AG were hostile to the Tates from the moment they landed in 2025 and opened their own investigation, but they did not issue the federal warrant that led to the Miami arrest. If someone is looking for a single villain who allowed this, the cleanest answer is that the UK brought the case and the U.S. federal system processed it according to existing treaty obligations. Claims of a coordinated political hit involving Florida officials or the Trump administration remain allegations from the defense. They will be tested in the extradition hearings. Here's the bottom line after this podcast. The Romanian case was serious and was blocked on procedural grounds, not on a finding of innocence. The new UK charges are broader and include extremely serious elements, especially anything involving child images. Dual citizenship allowed legal entry into the U.S. once the Romanian lifted the travel ban. The current arrest is a formal step in an extradition process that both countries have used for decades. The public nature of the arrest, the media coverage, and the timing have fueled claims that this is as much about destroying a public figure as it is about justice. Those claims may or may not prove true. What is true is the legal process is now underway in the U.S. federal court, and the brothers will have the opportunity to contest every element of the extradition request. Due process still matters. Evidence still matters. Public opinion is not a substitute for either. For now, that's the full picture as of July 26, 2026. We'll keep the court filings as they develop. Stay tuned. God bless.